The text message glowed on my phone screen, its words a punch to the gut. It was as if the world had stopped spinning for a moment, leaving me in a void of disbelief and pain. "Please don't come to the wedding, Dad." Those words echoed in my mind, each repetition more painful than the last. "We don't want you there." The finality of that statement was like a dagger to my heart, twisting with every beat. My daughter, my little girl, was getting married. Memories of her childhood flooded my mind. Her first steps, her first words, her laughter. And I, her father, was uninvited. The realization was a heavy weight on my chest, making it hard to breathe. The world tilted. A dizzying wave of confusion and hurt washed over me. How had we come to this point? What had I done to deserve this? How could this be happening? I always dreamed of walking her down the aisle, of being there for her on one of the most important days of her life, of seeing her radiant in white, her eyes sparkling with joy as she looked at her future, of sharing that special moment with her, the father-daughter dance, a tradition I had looked forward to since she was a little girl. Now that dream was shattered. My fingers trembled as I tried to call her, needing to hear her voice, to understand why she had made this decision, needing to hear her voice, to understand. I hoped for an explanation, a chance to make things right. But the call went straight to voicemail. The silence on the other end was deafening, a stark reminder of the growing chasm between us. A cold, automated voice reminding me of the distance between us. I left a message, my voice cracking with emotion, hoping she would hear the pain and longing in my words. I sat there, alone in the dimly lit room, replaying old family videos on my phone. Each clip a reminder of happier times, of a bond that seemed unbreakable. The wedding date was circled on my calendar, a date I had once looked forward to with so much anticipation. Now, it was a looming reminder of my exclusion. I decided to write her a letter, pouring my heart out onto the paper. I needed her to know how much I loved her, how much I wanted to be there for her. I placed the letter in the mailbox, hoping it would reach her, hoping it would bridge the gap between us. As I looked at the sky, I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, hoping for a miracle, hoping for a chance to be a part of her special day. I looked at my phone one last time before setting it down, a heavy heart weighing me down. All I could do now was wait and hope. The shock soon gave way to a torrent of emotions, anger, resentment, and above all, a profound sadness. I paced the room, my heart pounding, trying to process the rejection. How could my own daughter shut me out of one of the most important days of her life? The tears came unbidden, hot and stinging. I wasn't a perfect father, no. But I had loved her, supported her, and always tried my best. Had all that counted for nothing? As the day wore on, the weight of her words pressed down on me. Every corner of the house held memories of her childhood, each one now tinged with a bitter sweetness. From the moment my daughter announced her engagement, I was ecstatic. I threw myself into the wedding preparations, eager to create a magical day for her. I wanted everything to be perfect for his little girl. There were long nights spent poring over guest lists, choosing menus and visiting venues. I found myself smiling at strangers, my heart overflowing with a joy I couldn't contain. I imagined her walking towards her future, her hand tucked in mine, her eyes shining with happiness. It was a dream I had cherished for so long. The wedding venue was particularly special. A beautiful, sprawling garden with a charming gazebo overlooking a lake. It was the perfect setting for a fairy tale wedding, the kind every father dreams of for his daughter. I remembered the day we visited it. She had gasped in awe, her eyes sparkling as she took in the beauty of the place. "It's perfect, Dad," she had whispered, squeezing my hand. "It's simply perfect." But now, the thought of that venue, of all the love and effort I had poured into it, filled me with a gnawing emptiness. It stood as a painful reminder of a celebration I was forbidden to attend. Section 5. Silence and Whispers. Days turned into a blur of silent agony. My calls went unanswered, my texts ignored. Friends and family reached out, offering words of comfort, but their words felt hollow, distant. Rumors began to circulate, whispers of past disagreements, of old wounds. I heard snippets of conversations, accusations veiled as concern. My heart ached with each hurtful word, each judgment passed. I longed to reach out to my daughter, to bridge the chasm that had opened between us. But the fear of rejection, of pushing her further away, held me back. Section 6. A Daughter's Choice. One evening, after days of agonizing silence, I received a call. It wasn't from my daughter, but from her fiancé. His voice was kind, understanding. He explained that my daughter was hurting, that she needed time. He assured me that this wasn't about me, not entirely. It was about her past, her pain, her struggle to find her own path. He asked for my patience, my understanding. His words, though difficult to hear, brought a sliver of clarity. This wasn't just about me and her. It was about her journey, her choices, and as her father, I had to respect that. Section 7. Time heals, but slowly. The wedding day arrived, a bittersweet day filled with a mixture of sadness and acceptance. It was supposed to be a day of joy, a celebration of love and unity. Instead, it became a day of reflection, a moment to ponder the twists and turns that life had taken. The air was thick with unspoken words and emotions that lingered just beneath the surface. I spent the day alone, lost in thought, my heart heavy with unshed tears. The silence was deafening, each tick of the clock a reminder of what could have been. Memories of happier times flooded my mind, but they were tinged with a sense of loss and longing. I wandered through the empty venue, each step echoing in the vast, silent space. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the room, I made a decision. The golden hues of the sunset seemed to symbolize the end of an era, a closing chapter in the book of my life. The decision was not easy, but it felt necessary. It was a moment of clarity amidst the chaos, a realization that holding on to the past was only prolonging the pain. I picked up the phone and canceled the wedding venue. The words felt heavy as they left my lips, but there was also a sense of relief. It was as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. The act of canceling was more than just a logistical step. It was a declaration of my intent to move forward, to find a new path. It was a small act of defiance, a way of reclaiming my power in a situation that felt utterly powerless. In that moment, I realized that I had the strength to make choices, to take control of my destiny. The cancellation was a statement, a way of saying that I would not be defined by this one event. It was a step towards healing, a way to start mending the broken pieces of my heart. More importantly, it was a symbolic closure to a chapter of my life, a way of letting go of the dream I had held so close and embracing the uncertain future that lay ahead. The future was a blank canvas, waiting to be painted with new experiences and adventures. It was a daunting prospect, but also an exciting one. The act of letting go was not just about the wedding. It was about releasing the expectations and pressures that had weighed me down. It was about finding peace within myself and opening up to the possibilities that the future held. Time heals, but it does so slowly, and this was the first step on that long journey. Section 8. Reaching out. The weeks that followed were a time of reflection and healing. The wedding venue, once a place of joy and celebration, now felt like a sanctuary for my thoughts. I spent countless hours wandering through the decorated halls, each corner whispering memories of what could have been. I grappled with my emotions, with the pain of rejection, with the weight of my mistakes. The sight of the emotional groom and the upset mother at the ceremony replayed in my mind, a constant reminder of the consequences of my actions. I knew I couldn't change the past, but I could try to understand it. I spent hours looking at old wedding photos, each image a fragment of a story that had led to this moment. Holding the wedding invitation, I pondered over the choices I had made and the paths I had taken. I began to write to my daughter, pouring out my heart in letters I knew she might never read. Each word was a piece of my soul, a testament to the love and regret that filled my heart. The act of writing became a ritual, a way to connect with her despite the distance between us. I wrote about my love for her, my regrets, my hopes for her happiness. I shared stories of her childhood, moments of joy and sorrow, and my deepest wishes for her future. Each letter was a blend of past memories and future dreams, a bridge between what was and what could be. Each letter was a step towards healing, a way of releasing the burden of unspoken words. Sealing each letter with wax felt like sealing a part of my heart, a promise to myself to keep moving forward. It didn't matter if she ever read them. The letters, untouched and unread, were symbols of my journey towards self-forgiveness and understanding. They were a testament to my efforts to reach out, to mend the broken pieces of our relationship. What mattered was that I had finally found my voice. Through the act of writing, I discovered a sense of closure and peace. Reflecting on the written words, I realized that this journey was as much about healing myself as it was about reaching out to her. The letters became a mirror, reflecting my growth and my newfound strength. Section 9. Forgiveness and Understanding. One day, months later, I received a package. Inside, nestled among tissue paper, was a photograph. It was her wedding picture. She was radiant, her eyes shining with joy, and standing beside her, his arm around her waist, was her husband. On the back of the photograph, she had written a simple message: "Thank you for understanding." In that moment, I knew that forgiveness, like healing, takes time. It wasn't about forgetting the past, but about learning from it, about allowing ourselves and each other the grace to grow and change. Section 10. Lessons learned. My daughter's wedding, or rather my absence from it, taught me more about life and love than I could have ever imagined. It taught me the importance of letting go, of respecting choices even when they hurt. It taught me that love doesn't always come wrapped in a neat package, and sometimes the greatest act of love is to simply let go. But most importantly, it taught me that families, like hearts, can heal, even from the deepest wounds, and that sometimes the greatest joy comes from finding peace within ourselves and reaching out to each other with open hearts.